mean, he would make me cry, I remember. Like, I'd be mad, and he's like, well, maybe you listen to me and go to college, if I keep on doing this. So we're going to go into looping structures, right? So let me go here. And luckily, like my daughter, I didn't have to my daughter, like I didn't have to take her to do hard work. I just encourage her, and she's 24, and she's gonna graduate in May with she's gonna be a doctor of physical therapy. My son, he's 13, right? I mean, I still have to like explain to him why it's important to do homework. Yeah, so. Okay, let me see here. So we're gonna go into a new section, and that's looping, but we have Boolean expression knowledge, and we're gonna use those Boolean expressions to introduce loopings, right? So we're gonna cover the while loop, the for loop, and the do while loop. The do while loop is not in Python. The for loop, for the most part, is in Python and in C++, and so is the while loop. So those are just gonna be kind of like reviews and just the new syntax for how we have to code them in C++. But as far as like how it works, they work exactly the same. So let's go here, and we'll, again, like my examples are always simple examples, and then like once we get through functions, then what I'll do is I'll create like some example with like conditional statements, repetition, and functions, like some program that puts all those concepts together so that you can be like, oh yeah, like it's not just like learning how to write small examples. Like we'll make a meaningful programs, and you can use that as a guide or a reference, right? So we'll stick with simple examples for now. And here, like, write function prototype, name sum of squares, accepts an int, and returns an int, right? So easy enough. So we're like, okay, int sum, enter, of squares, int num. Copy everything but semicolon, and then we go to CPP. While that h is already there, we go here, and we're trying to implement this piece here. So if we call the function sum of squares with a function argument 4, then we want to write an algorithm that does this, right? Like 1 times 1 plus 2 times 2 plus 3 times 3 plus 4 times 4 equals 30. So with your experience up to this point, like I want input, like how can we tackle this program? And I'll just, whatever you all tell me to write, that's type, that's what we'll type. Okay, so. And then we'll have the test case that'll help us check if we have the right logic or not. So you can type a comment, or you can like unmute and like tell me like how to tackle this piece. Again, this is what we're trying to do. We get a value, and like say we get 4, we're trying to get the sum of squares for the value 4 from 1 through 4. Okay, well, you all decide if you want to help me or not. I'm going to get some water. Okay. Again, why am I not typing code? because this one I'm gonna do as you all give me the algorithm, right? I'm not gonna like provide the solution. I want the class to give me the solution. So we're trying to use the if we call the function sum of squares with value 4, we want the value to be, the return value to be 30, and this is how we do it. We get the sum of squares, like 1 times 1 plus 2 times 2 plus 3 times 3 plus 4 times 4, right? That should net us 30. So anyone, please? We're going to use a while loop for this. So we need a while loop that does this. Obviously, we need more than a while loop, right? But the main structure will be a while loop. Okay, so let me see. We have input. That's good. While start less than equal none. Okay, so that's a good start. So let me do that. So while start less than equal num. Okay, so we have that piece. Obviously, like we need to define start. So what should we set start to? And what data type should it be? 0 int. Okay, good. So we're like, okay, auto start equals 0, and using auto, we're telling C++ use the equal 0 to determine the data type, and it's int, right? So we're on the right path. So now what would be, okay, let me see here, there's more input here. Okay, auto start equals 0, good. And okay, so we have, so okay, so if start is 0, so here, so that's good. So then what else? Like, obviously we need to return something, right? So I'll put the return statement there. We need to return something here, but I'll wait for input for that. So don't like be shy or afraid to provide input, and then what you think we should do is incorrect, right? Like trust me, like if I could count like how many times I've been wrong about code, like in all my years of coding, like it would be like a very high number, right? But like I always take the approach, like well, I'm learning, even now, like I'm still learning. I'm like, okay, I'm learning, like I'm learning like the new Java concepts. I have to learn them, and I have to make mistakes. But then I'm like, oh, that's not the way it works. It's like this, right? So for this algorithm, so far we have a good start. Like we have auto start. We want the loop to loop while start less than equal to num. But we still need some pieces to finalize this example, right? So let me see here. Okay, define another variable sum. Okay, then in the while loop have sum equals sum. Okay, good. Okay, so here we can say auto sum equals 0, and then in here we have sum equal sum plus start times start. Okay, and should we return, what should we return here in the return? Which variable? Maybe someone other than Williams can answer. Okay, Michael, yeah, thank you. So sum, right? So we return sum, oops, not there. Okay, so are we done? Oh, I forgot to say do start equals start plus 1 in the loop. Okay, yeah. So here, like we need a statement in the while loop that makes this Boolean expression false, right? So that's what William is saying. Like we need to make sure that we do start equals start plus 1. And once we do that, we're done with this piece. And we can go and test with a test case now, right? So that's then with test cases, they help us make sure that we are writing high quality code. So we go here, we go to examples, repetition, and we open the 0-4 repetition test. And first thing we always want to do is include where we're going to bring our code from, right? And that's that while file, while.h. Then we can write a test case, test, control space, enter, test sum of squares with while. Okay, so now we can just write our test case. We say require sum of squares, and we have some value there 4, and we're saying that it should be 30. And we go here and we can run this piece. Okay, so up arrow dash s, enter, and 30 equals 30. Let's do a couple of more assertions, right? So we'll say maybe we do the sum of squares for 3, and that's 1 times 1, 1, 2 times 2, 4, 3 times 3, 9. So that should be 14, right? So we're like, okay, 14. So 3. And let's go ahead and run it. And at the bottom, right, 3 assertions, green, all tests pass, good, and we'll add one more. So we'll say with 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. 25 plus 30, 55, right? So let's go ahead and run it. Run in terminal. And at the bottom, all tests passed. Up arrow space dash s, enter. 55 equals 55, 30 equals 30, 14 equals 14. So this code that y'all helped me write works for any number, right? And that's what we wanted. So that's how we would use a while loop, right? In this case, we're using it in a function, but we're using it to do some tabulation. Questions here? Okay, one more question for this problem. Is there another way we can solve this problem with a while loop? I mean, overall, like we can use the same structure here, but how else can we tackle this? See here. Okay, using using plus equal and I plus plus, right, for C++. But we can also like count in reverse, right? Like we can say like 4 times 4, and then 3 times 3, 2 times 2, 1 times 1. So we just say while num greater than 0, and then we can eliminate this start and this start, and then we're just using num. So we eliminate one variable. Not a big deal, right? So that's how we could tackle this. This is what I'm saying, right? So we could say like while num greater than 0. I'm not gonna write the whole code, right? And then we would like do the sum thing, and then we would say num equals num minus 1. Right, and then we'd have to like obviously use the sum variable to tabulate, but then we don't need, if we opt for that route, we do not need the start variable, right? But it's really not like a big deal. Okay, so let me go ahead and jump to the next example. So let's go to the header. Okay, so write function prototype name display that accepts a string and returns void. Okay, so returns void. Okay, display string, oops, lowercase. Here in the header, we have to use inline namespace resolution, right? So that we don't have to like do using stud string, and headers are included all over the place. And chances are that if we include it in a different file, that file may not need using stud string, right? So then we opt for inline, so that we're not polluting other files with namespaces, right? So we can opt for this, and here we can just say, I guess str. Really, that we can stick with that. So what are we to do here? We go to the file, and it's kind of like, what do we do with this code? Saying write code for display function that accepts a string and displays each character of the string in a line, right? So you all did this in Python, right, where you just iterate over a sequence. So we're doing the same thing here, just to get practice with this piece. So str dot size, right? So that's how we can get the name of the string. So how can we approach this piece? We're not returning anything. We're just going to display a character per line. And just like in Python, like you can access a character of the sequence like that, or if it was a variable like that, right? So that knowledge, how can we iterate and produce that output? HELLO. Maybe someone other than the ones who helped us right now, we can get participation from other students. So Williams, Michael, Quentin, Michael. Yep. So if other students can, just by looking at this example, you can get an idea of how we can tackle the display piece. I'm pretty sure you all did it in Python. So just remember how you did it in Python, and then even if the syntax is incorrect here, like I can fix the syntax.
Is it supposed to take an input, right? Is that what you're asking for too?
Yeah. We'll take an incoming string, and we just want to iterate through the string and display one character per line of that sequence. We have 8 minutes. 8 minutes, and then you'll have a short assignment. So we want to get at least through this example. So don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed. If I remember your name at the end of the semester, and I'm like, oh yeah, that student participated, then more than likely you'll get a letter bump, right? If you're 1 or 2 points short. So don't think it's just in vain here. Okay, so Bryce, so character. Okay, I think you have the right idea, right? We need to like somehow get a character, and then we need C out. So that's good, right? So let me at least do this, right? So we're like, okay, so while something. So I think you're thinking character, because maybe we want to get a character, save it into the character, and then see out the character. So we can do that. So I'll say auto ch. So we can have that chart type. So if we go here, let me see if it accepts it. Character space. Okay, it has to be a space, otherwise it errors out. So now it's the character data type. So I think you were thinking that maybe, I'm just trying to see what you were thinking, and then we get something and stuff it into character, and then we see out character, right? So, but how do we get this stuff? Let me go up here and put using stud see out. And include stream. Okay, so we need to resolve the Boolean expression, and then we'll probably need a statement that somehow increments or makes this false, right? So what should we put here? Over here we used a counter, so maybe do we need a counter here, or an index in this case?
Well, not equal to 0.
Well, not equal to 0, right? So let me do this, and I think that'll help you all. Like, so we can determine the size of the string by using this, right? So maybe like while something is less than size. So while something is less than size, right? Why? Let me go here. Bring this down. Go here, create a new page. So we have a string, say we have hello, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, HELLO, index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So while less than size, then we need somehow to be getting this value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to retrieve HELLO one at a time. So let me jump back here. We got 4 minutes. So how should we approach that? We need something less than size here, right? So I'm gonna practically give you all the answers. So, well, something less than size, there's no semicolon here. So can you all please help me fill in the gap there? What is that something? We need a counter. Like over here we have a counter and it's start. And notice we're incrementing start by 1. So what should we have here? Let me see here. Yep. So auto length equals, okay. So I'm going to pretend I didn't see William's statement because he helped us with the last one. But Josue has, he's like, okay, I equals 0. Okay. So he's like, hey, so maybe we do I equal 0, and then I less than, oops, lowercase I less than. So we have this. So in the while loop, we need to have a statement that makes this false. So what should that statement be here? Okay, increment. It's okay. Like if it's like, hey, wait a minute, I need more time to think. That's okay. Like sometimes, like baptism by fire also helps you like start thinking, like, oh, this guy's putting me under pressure. Right? Okay, and so that's okay. And then here, we can opt to do this if we want, right? We can get a character. We can say, oh, so how do I get a character? str at index I, right? We don't really need this statement, but since the student was kind of thinking it out, I'm like, we can use it, right? And notice here we output the character. And over here, we're saying increment I by 1. So then we are incrementing the index to 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Eventually 5, and then 5 is not less than 5. The loop will start. We'll stop executing. So let's go here. And this doesn't require a test case. We're just displaying. So we go here. And we can say display. Okay, and using string. And then we can say string str equals hello. And then we can pass it in as a function argument. At this time, we should be able to run our program successfully. So we jump here, run in terminal.
This might be a dumb question, and maybe you've already talked about this, but indexes, do they work the same as they do in Python and C++?
Yeah, they'll work the same. Like they're 0 indexed, and we can retrieve. I did mention it like briefly, right? Because I didn't want to give students the answer, but I said
Okay.
you can access characters like you do in Python. Like for example, like this. I was doing that, but I didn't want to like leave it up too long because I didn't want to give students the answer. Like this is a
Okay.
warning. We'll talk about it later. This piece here, but yeah, they work the same. Yep. So for today, we'll stop here. Like notice we did get HELLO down here displayed, and you should have a class assignment. It's an easy assignment. It's about the truth tables. Like all you have to do is give me the truth tables for the assignment, put them in Word, Excel, attach it to the assignment, or create a table in the assignment GUI. Whatever you want to do, it don't matter, right? And submit it. Let me check this in. I'll stop the video.